Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Deputy Chief Aaron Hughley. I oversee our Investigations Division and serve as our agency's Public Information Officer. Standing here with me today is Southfield Police Chief Elvin V. Baring, Deputy Chief Jeffrey Jagowski, who oversees our Patrol Division, Detective Lieutenant Mustafa Beasy, Assistant Special Agent in Charge Chris Hess, Supervisory Special Agent Brad Sioma, and Special Agent Chris Siegel, all from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Today, Chief Barron will provide details on a prostitution investigation and the exceptional collaboration amongst local and federal partners, which led to the arrest of someone operating a human trafficking enterprise. The incident occurred on Wednesday, February 19, 2025, at 17670 West 12 Mile Road, Pressure Point Massage here in the city of Southfield. I ask that you please hold all of your questions until the conclusion of the press briefing and turn off or mute any cell phones or other electronic devices. Also, please wait to be escorted back down to the main lobby. A press packet is available on the back table, which contains a USB drive of all files presented here today. Also, for record-keeping purposes, we ask that you complete our media sign-in sheet. And without any further delay, Chief Barron.
And as always, thank you, Deputy Chief. I certainly want to thank the media for being here. You know, this is a major announcement. As I remind you, in November of 2024, the Southfield Police Department uncovered human trafficking occurring at the Sonesta Suites. And as you remember, that individual was given a $3 million bond as he worked his operation for multi-states. And then earlier this year, March, we also uncovered another human trafficker who was operating out of the Red Oak Inn in Marvin Gardens. Again, multinational type of operation. And so the Southfield Police Department, in partnership with our friends from the FBI, certainly the county, also have done great work at managing these processes, managing these individuals who appear in our city. And that reach now goes into these massage parlors, who we all know there's a serious issue at massage parlors across the country. In fact, when you look at the data, it does suggest that the illicit massage industry is one of the largest and steadily increasing sex trafficking markets in America. It's important to note that not all massage parlors are contributing to this type of business, but unfortunately it is a reality that many are. And when we look at the data, it's estimated that 11,000 illicit massage businesses exist across the United States, and it's a $2.5 billion to 4.3 billion operation. Again, that's nationally. So that's why it's important, as I always say, that we pay attention to what goes on in our city, because there are victims that are trapped into a life of human trafficking at these massage parlors just as easily as the ones we discovered independently that work out of hotels. And so for this particular incident, it did occur on Wednesday, February 19th of 2025. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, SIMTEC Task Force, along with members of the Southfield Police Department, executed a search warrant at 17670 West 12 Mile. There was a pressure point massage related to human trafficking and a prostitution complaint. So just for clarification, I use that terminology, SIMTEC. It stands for Southeast Michigan Trafficking and Exploitation Crimes Task Force, and consists of law enforcement officers from the FBI, Southfield Police, and Detroit Police Department. SIMTEC received information that Pressure Point Massage owner Rhonda Hahn's business was performing sexual acts on clients in exchange for money. It was further discovered that Hahn has been in the massage business industry for over 25 years. Hahn was licensed by the state of Michigan. However, she did not have a valid license to conduct her operation in Southfield, as that license had expired. During Hahn's interview with detectives and FBI agents, she disclosed to them that her establishment began performing sexual acts on clients for profit approximately 10 years ago. That's a significant amount of time to be performing sex acts. When SIMTEC executed the search warrant at Pressure Point Massage, Hahn was in the process of giving a male client of Bloomfield Hills a massage. The male client informed the detectives and the agents that Hahn gave him a back massage while he was completely nude. The male client then informed the officers that while she was performing the massage, she began touching his genitals and stopped the moment law enforcement officers executed their search warrant. So you look at the timing on this. The search warrant was conducted very timely to see this transaction happening as we walked into the establishment. And then you have this individual gave us additional information on how this went down. So our investigation did reveal that the payment was discussed with the client prior to the massage taking place. Han and the client agreed to a cost of $60 for 30 minutes or $80 for an hour. Detectives and agents also spoke with a female employee of Pressure Point Massage who was also on site. The female employee identified herself as being a receptionist. The employee denied providing sexual services to clients. However, the investigation revealed that she has an active social media account that is known to advertise sexual activity. The female employee was found to be in possession of just under $1,000 in U.S. currency, along with a cell phone, which were both seized by the FBI. The female employee receptionist has not been charged criminally at this time. And so who we did charge is Rhonda Han. She's a 61-year-old resident of Southfield. She received state charges, count 1, prostitution, accepting earnings, count 2, human trafficking enterprise causing injury and or resulting in commercial sexual activity, count 3, keeping a house of prostitution, and then she has a local charge of count 1 of no massage license established. And also the state bond was $1,500 cash surety, and also a local bond of $500 cash surety. Her next court date is March 31st at 8:30 a.m. What's interesting to note when you look at the criminal history of Han, because I did mention she's been doing this type of thing as far as the illegal sex acts for about 10 years, but certainly in the business for 25 years, that she did not have a criminal history. When the FBI and the Southfield police officers executed their search warrant at the home, it was discovered that she had items that lead us to believe she also conducted these operations at her home. So there were massage beds, tables, robes, towels ready to go as it relates to servicing clients. So to make a smoother transaction as far as how we apprehended her, the agents and detectives alerted her that she needed to come to the Southfield Police Department to retrieve some items. At that time, we placed her under arrest, and that way we were able to arrest her without incident, and certainly without giving her a mechanism or her become anxious and then try to flee from our officers and our detectives. And so, I just want to re-emphasize this collaboration between law enforcement partners and agencies. Sometimes you don't see this type of collaboration in other states. I think we're very unique here in Michigan that we work very well with our federal partners, certainly our county partners. In fact, Southfield Police Department has 2 detectives assigned to 2 different human trafficking task force. Oakland County Sheriff Bessard recently stood up a task force. We have a detective assigned to that one, and also, as I mentioned before, with our SimTech, we have a detective assigned there as well, who works very hard on her cases, and again with that collaborative effort. So I'm going to also just continue to acknowledge the Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Chris has certainly been a friend of mine for a number of years, dating back to my time in Detroit. Also Supervisory Special Agent Brad Sioma, and also Special Agent Chris Siegel, who, again, with that leadership of our FBI friends, collaborated with the Southfield Police Department. We have a very unique and dedicated unit. Specifically, you talk about SimTech, looking at national disruptions of human trafficking. And there's been a number of cases that have taken place since this relationship began. With that, I open up the floor for questions.
Chief, what do you think of that bond, $1,500?
Well, low. Ideally, with this type of charge, certainly with the fact that human trafficking is a significant national crisis, I would have liked to see a higher bond. But at this time, this pretty much where we're at. But yes, I would like to have seen a higher bond, yes.
Chief, this activity or alleged activity is seemingly through one of the radar for 10 years. Do you believe that there are other businesses in the city that may be doing the same?
It's very well possible. You know, the data, the research on this does tell us that over 11,000 businesses are conducting illegal operations across the country. And so that's a focus of not only the Oakland County Task Force, but also the Semtech Task Force to compare resources both locally and nationally. Because you know, like I know, a lot of these enterprises are connected, where they share information. You're talking about human trafficking, people are transported across state lines. And so these are the communication factors that we need to continue with these type of disruptive operations.
So not all massage parlors are engaging in this illicit activity. Do you have any advice, any tips that people can look for that might be signs of illegal activity?
Well, and that's, I want to reiterate what you just said. You know, not all massage parlors are engaged in this activity. Very important for us to note that. I know many of us get massages, and so, you know, it's an industry that is a respected industry, and people need, you know, that type of care. But there are those who take advantage of these type of situations to move into this sexual performance. And so one thing we know to look for, generally, when you look at an establishment, they usually have it, we get a buzz in the clients in and out. Cameras watching who's coming and going. I know cameras are security measures as well, but it combined with dark windows, gated windows and doors, you know, those things together can cause for some alarm. And then in the privacy of the rooms, you know, they'll make a transaction take place in that privacy of that room. In this case, we did have an individual who did cooperate with us, as he alleges that he knew nothing about the lady moving towards satisfying him sexually. According to him, when we executed our search warrant, it was just happening. Now, you may ask me, you know, Chief, do you necessarily believe that? I don't. Just be very candid with you. But there's no evidence that would suggest or lend us to be able to move forward any type of prosecution. But I've been around a little bit longer than maybe he thinks that I have been around, and there's no way I believe that she just started just doing these things, and he just, I don't know what's going on. So, but there's no evidence that would help us secure a case on him.
Chief, outside of Ms. Hardy being caught in the act, the receptionist, social media, were there any other signs during the search that would suggest that a human trafficking operation was happening at that business?
Well, only at this time, when you look at the receptionist, who, although she disclosed that she had no knowledge of what was going on, again, I don't believe that either. Just, I know that question would come up, especially when our investigation revealed that she herself has a social media account that advertises sex acts. And so collaborating with what we identified occurring at the massage parlor, and then even when we interviewed the client at the time, disclosing that these things took place, I would believe that it's been going on for some time.
Chief, is it a problem for the mail? Can the mail get in trouble for using her services? And if the mail can, will there be any arrests made by the customer?
So absolutely, and this investigation is still moving forward. And so, you know, you talk about video evidence that has to be reviewed. You talk about additional individuals who may come forward with information. So it's very possible.
Any idea how many mails that you're looking at?
No idea at this time, exact number. Well, we got to go through records and things like that. But it could be significant. I'll leave it at that.
Right. And real quick, last question. How much money are we talking about over the course of, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on this, but how many years you can go back? How much money do you think she made because of these illegal services?
Well, with that question, I'll turn it over to our FBI, who may have an account for that. Yeah. Okay, so still ongoing exactly the amount of money, but again, a lot of research, a lot of reports to go through, a lot of information to gather. But there's a possibility that this could grow substantially. Yeah.
Has the city taken steps to shut down the place?
So as we stand here today, the business is shut down. Matter of fact, here's a photo of it, where you see that the name has already been etched out of the wall, and we're looking to find this establishment a new owner conducting business, whatever that business may be, honorably in the city of Southfield.
And have neighbors given the investigators any indication as to whether or not this was a busy place, like it was constantly people coming in and out? And also, what will your message be to other individuals or businesses who may be operating businesses like this in Southfield?
Yeah, this, for our understanding, they did have a steady stream of clients. And when you look at the records, that they did have a number of clients. Again, they've been operating for a number of years. You're talking about being in the business 25 years and then performing illegal transactions for 10 years, a steady stream. So my advice to individuals who think that Southfield is a good place to set these operations off, you got to look at what we're doing, not only at businesses, but also individuals who are using hotels. I said this many different times before. We're paying attention to what goes on in our city. And in fact, we've made significant arrests in this industry. And these people that we've arrested are still housed today when I'm talking about the ones that were conducting human trafficking at our local hotels. And so we're going to continue to investigate. This may lead to other establishments, because you know, like I know, a lot of times when individuals are apprehended, they do share other information about what's going on in other communities outside of Southfield. You know, this is again, a national issue, a national crisis. Human trafficking and sex work, these things go hand in hand. And so we're going to continue to, as I always say, pay attention to what goes on, and then using our resources, our partnerships, make those arrests.
Chief, I sent a text here. What other communities across Metro Detroit are you guys working with on investigations like this?
So the task force is works the entire metropolitan area. So when we receive information from the public or we learn of information through our investigations, it takes us wherever it takes us. We'll go into any community in the area and conduct thorough investigations to try and corroborate the information that we receive, develop evidence, and pursue those investigations in court.
And Mr. Hess, do you have any data on how many operations have been interrupted this year with Semtex help?
I don't have the statistics for that off the top of my head, but I can tell you that through our partnerships with Chief Barron, the members of Southfield Police Department, and other communities and other police departments around the area, we are very active in these investigations.
Has it been like tips from the community that kind of let you guys know what's going on as far as these illegal operations are going? Does that help in your investigation?
It absolutely helps us. We can't be everywhere at all times, so the assistance from the public is critical, and bringing our attention to locations and businesses that might be conducting this activity.
In your investigation, Mr. Hess, what makes Metro Detroit a popular area for activity like this? Why are people coming here to do this?
Well, I think I would say Metro Detroit is not a unique area. This is a problem that affects communities all over the state of Michigan, all over the country. It's not necessarily just the major metropolitan areas.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Any other visuals?
So that's it as far as visuals. Certainly do recommend you go out to the establishment and maybe you can talk to some folks around there who may be able to lend some more information. Also, you mentioned, tips that come in. Yeah, a high volume of tips come from the community. They may learn of the activity that goes on from someone who benefited from the services. They may share the information with someone, but that information now gets turned over to law enforcement to investigate. And through our relationships, we do conduct those investigations.